The desperate plea. The claws shredded metal and flesh into ribbons of gore as the sadistic alien ravaged yet another defenseless colony. But this time would be different. This time, the humans were going to join the war. The Balkan pilot, Javin, lay exhausted in his bunk, trying to block out the grim reality of endless invasions. The ruthless enemy destroyed Balkan spawning pools, massacred lava, and outmatched Balkan ships at every turn. Javin's own vessel had just retreated from planet DX, leaving its people to die in despair. He muttered to his wingmate, Caudal, "The humans had it right centuries ago, those violent crazies. Why mention them now?" Caudal scoffed. "I studied their history. They were betrayed by the galactic races, but maybe their uncompromising ways are just what we need." As colonies burned and Balkans perished, Javine realized there was only one hope left, and it meant awakening humanity's long-dormant rage. Javine sat hunched over the glowing screen, his eye stalks twitching as he scanned through the ancient historical records. The dim light of the computer terminal cast an eerie glow on his tired face. He had been at this for hours, digging through the archives, searching for any scrap of information about the humans and their fateful encounter with the galactic community centuries ago. "You're wasting your time," Caudal said from his bunk, his voice dripping with disdain. "The humans are long gone. They're not going to save us from the Theh." Javine ignored him, his attention focused solely on the records before him. He had found something, a series of entries detailing the humans' first contact with the wider galaxy. The records showed that the humans were initially thrilled to be recognized as advanced enough to join galactic society. They had eagerly sent delegates to various alien races, hoping to forge new alliances and trade agreements. But their excitement quickly turned to outrage as they endured a series of brazen betrayals and attacks from various alien races. Javine felt a surge of anger as he read through the records. The humans had been betrayed at every turn, their trust and goodwill repaid with cruelty and exploitation. It was no wonder they had reacted with such fury. The records showed that the humans had completely cut off contact with all alien races after these betrayals. They had retreated to their own territory and began rapidly advancing their own technology in secret. 2 years later, they had unleashed devastating surprise attacks on their betrayers. The Sleen Empire's atmospheres had been ignited by an enhanced missile barrage, turning their worlds into infernos. The Jandis Collective had been rotted from within by a horrific bioweapon, their bodies dissolving into putrid sludge. The Dolans had been hunted down and destroyed, their ill-gotten gains seized and returned to Earth. Javine leaned back in his chair, his mind racing with the implications of what he had just read. The humans had been uncompromising in their response to injustice. They had not hesitated to use overwhelming force against those who had wronged them. And now they were isolated behind an impenetrable defense grid, their territory protected by a system that instantly obliterated any approaching ship. "Don't you see?" Javine said, turning to face Caudal. "The humans are our only hope. They have the technology and the will to fight the Theh. We have to reach out to them, to ask for their help." Caudal shook his head, his eye stalks drooping in despair. "You're crazy," he said. "The humans will never help us. They'll blast us out of the sky before we even get close to their territory. It's suicide." But Javine was undeterred. He knew that seeking human aid was a grave risk, but it was a risk he was willing to take. The Balkans were facing extinction at the hands of the Theh. They needed a miracle, and the humans might just be that miracle. The journey begins. Javine's eye stalks flicked back and forth as he crept through the dimly lit corridors of the Balkan ship. His heart pounded in his chest, threatening to burst through his exoskeleton. Every sound made him flinch, fearing that Caudal or another crewmate would discover his unauthorized departure. After an agonizingly tense journey, Javine finally reached the hangar bay. He scurried over to his small stealth ship, running his claws over its smooth surface. This tiny vessel represented both his people's last hope and his own likely demise. With a deep breath, he opened the hatch and climbed inside. The cockpit lit up as Javine initiated the pre-flight sequence, his claws dancing over the controls, flipping switches, and adjusting dials with a speed born of desperation. The engines hummed to life, their vibrations resonating through the ship's frame. As Javine gripped the controls, a pang of sorrow pierced his heart. Images of his family and friends flashed through his mind, his broodmates, his clutch mother, even Caudle. Would he ever see them again? Tears welled in his eye stalks, blurring his vision, but he blinked them away, his resolve hardening. He had to do this for all of them. With a decisive push of the thrusters, Javine guided the stealth ship out of the hangar bay and into the void of space. The inky blackness enveloped him, the distant stars cold and uncaring. He engaged the ship's cloaking device, vanishing from sight and sensors. Javine input the coordinates for the edge of human territory, his claws trembling slightly. He had memorized the location from the ancient star charts, but he had no idea what actually awaited him there. The human defense grid was the stuff of nightmares, an impenetrable wall of destruction that obliterated any intruder. As his ship aligned itself for the jump to FTL, Javine couldn't help but imagine the humans' reaction to his arrival. Would they blast him to atoms before he even had a chance to speak? Would they torture him for information about Balkan weaknesses? Or, by some miracle, would they listen to his desperate plea? He shook his head, pushing those thoughts aside. It didn't matter. He had to try. With a deep breath, Javine engaged the hyperdrive. The stars elongated into streaks of light, then vanished altogether as the ship leaped into the space between spaces. The journey was long and arduous, lasting many cycles. Javine subsisted on meager rations of nutrient paste, barely enough to keep his body functioning. He spent every waking moment poring over what little data he had on the humans, trying to glean some insight into their culture and psychology. But the records were frustratingly sparse. The humans had been isolated for centuries, and even before that, they had been notoriously secretive. Javine found himself grasping at scraps, a fragment of a transmission here, a blurry image there. It was like trying to assemble a puzzle with half the pieces missing. As the days stretched into weeks, the loneliness and uncertainty began to take their toll. Javine found himself talking to the ship's computer just to hear a voice other than his own. He replayed memories of his broodmates, clinging to them like a lifeline. But through it all, his determination never wavered. He would reach the humans. He would beg for their aid. And if they killed him for his audacity, so be it. At least he would die knowing that he had done everything in his power to save his people. And so, with nothing but hope and desperation to sustain him, Javine hurtled through the void towards an uncertain future, the fate of the Balkan race resting on his shoulders. The edge of human space. The vast expanse of space stretched out before Javine, an endless void punctuated by distant stars. As his ship approached the outer edge of human territory, a strange sense of calm settled over him. His claws, which had been trembling on the controls for days, now felt steady and sure. It was as if some external force had taken hold of him, guiding him towards his inevitable fate. Suddenly, without warning, the ship shuddered violently. The engines sputtered and died, the control panels went dark, and an eerie silence filled the cockpit. Javine's eye stalks swiveled frantically as he scanned the readouts, trying to make sense of what had happened. But every system appeared to be functioning normally. There was no mechanical failure, no damage to the ship's hull. It was as if some invisible hand had simply reached out and switched everything off. A chill ran down Javine's exoskeleton as the realization dawned on him. This must be the work of the humans' impenetrable defense grid, the legendary barrier that no ship had ever breached. He had heard stories of vessels being instantly vaporized as they approached human space, their atoms scattered to the cosmic winds. And now it seemed he was about to meet the same fate. With his heart pounding in his chest, Javine reached for the emergency communicator. His claws shook as he activated the device, knowing that this was likely his only chance to make contact with the humans before they destroyed his ship. He took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves, and began broadcasting on all frequencies. "Greetings," he said, his voice cracking slightly. "I am Pilot Javine of the 3rd Response Unit of the Balkan race. I come to beg for your help." He paused, waiting for a response, but there was only silence, a deafening absence of sound that seemed to press in on him from all sides. "The Vampire is slaughtering my people," he continued, desperation creeping into his voice. "They are relentless, and we cannot hope to defeat them alone. I know that we have wronged your kind in the past, and I understand if you hate us for it. But I beg you, for the sake of all that is good in this universe, to show us mercy. Help us defend our colonies. Help us protect the innocent." He stopped speaking, his throat tight with emotion. Still, there was no response. Javine's eye stalks drooped in despair as he slumped back in his seat. It was over. The humans were going to kill him, just as they had killed so many others who had dared to approach their territory. But just as he was about to give up all hope, a soft hum filled the cockpit. Javine's eye stalks snapped to attention as the control panels flickered back to life. The ship's systems whirred back into action, and the engines roared to life. Javine's heart skipped a beat as he realized what this meant. The humans were allowing him to proceed. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, Javine allowed himself to breathe a sigh of relief. He didn't know what awaited him on the other side of this encounter, but at least he had made contact. At least he had been given a chance. With renewed determination, Javine gripped the controls and guided his ship forward, crossing the threshold into human space. The vast unknown stretched out before him, full of danger and possibility. Javine knew that the road ahead would be fraught with peril, but he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. He was a Balkan, after all, and his people had a saying, "In the darkest night, even the smallest light shines bright." Javine had lit that spark of hope, and he would carry it with him into the heart of the unknown. The human outpost. Javine's ship glided silently through the human space, its cloaking device still engaged to avoid detection. The stars outside twinkled with a serene brilliance, a stark contrast to the turmoil roiling within him. As he navigated through the outer regions of human territory, he marveled at the sight of massive space stations and bustling orbital platforms dotting the void. These were the symbols of a thriving civilization that had once turned its back on the galaxy, yet now seemed to hold the key to his people's survival. After hours of tense navigation, Javine's sensors detected a faint signal emanating from a nearby outpost. The signal was weak but unmistakable, an indication that this might be a place where he could seek help. With a mix of hope and trepidation, Javine set his course for the outpost, his mind racing with what-ifs and possibilities. The outpost came into view, a sprawling structure of metal and lights that resembled a giant, orbiting fortress. It was a hub of activity, with ships of various sizes coming and going, their engines leaving trails of luminescent vapor in their wake. Javine approached cautiously, his ship's cloaking device still active to avoid drawing attention. As he neared, he saw a series of docking bays and communication relays, each bustling with activity. Javine's heart raced as he prepared to make contact. He had no way of knowing if the outpost was friendly or hostile, but he had no other option. He deactivated the cloaking device and sent out a hailing signal, broadcasting his plea for assistance. "Human outpost, this is Javine of the Balkan race. I come in peace and seek your aid. My people are under threat from the T-Empire, and we are desperate for help. Please respond." The minutes ticked by slowly as Javine waited, the tension in the cockpit palpable. Just when he began to doubt whether his message had been received, a response crackled through the speakers. "This is Outpost Theta 7. Unidentified vessel, you are approaching a restricted area. State your purpose and identity immediately." Javine's eye stalks twitched nervously. "I am Javine, a pilot of the Balkan 3rd Response Unit. I am seeking refuge and assistance for my people. The Vampire is destroying our colonies, and we have nowhere else to turn." There was a moment of silence before the voice on the other end spoke again, with a tone that was both curious and wary. Balkan, we've had limited contact with your kind in the past. What makes you think we can or will help you? Javain took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. I understand your skepticism. The humans and the Balkans have a troubled history, but I have come here not to dwell on the past, but to plead for your help. My people are on the brink of extinction. We are willing to make amends and cooperate in any way possible. Please, I beg you, give us a chance. The voice on the other end hesitated, and Javain could almost hear the internal deliberation taking place. After what felt like an eternity, the response came, tinged with reluctant acceptance. Very well, Javain. You may dock at Bay 4. Remain on board and await further instructions. Any attempt to leave the ship or breach our security will be met with immediate consequences. Javain felt a surge of relief. He had been granted a chance, however precarious. He guided his ship to the assigned docking bay, his claws trembling with anticipation as he docked with the outpost. The docking procedure was smooth, and Javain's ship settled into the bay with a satisfying clunk. As the hatch of his ship opened, Javain stepped out into the bustling docking bay. The scene before him was a whirlwind of activity. Human technicians and engineers moved with purpose, their faces set in focused expressions. He was met by a contingent of armed guards, their weapons at the ready. The guards eyed him warily, their gazes unwavering as they escorted him through a series of corridors and into a sterile, high-tech briefing room. Javain took a deep breath as he looked around the room. It was sleek and modern, with walls of polished metal and large, illuminated screens displaying various data and star maps. A single imposing figure stood at the head of a long table, a tall human with a stern expression, dressed in a uniform adorned with insignia that spoke of high rank. Javain, the human said, his voice carrying a tone of authority and curiosity. I am Captain Leon Hart. You have been granted a hearing due to the gravity of your claims. Explain to me why we should involve ourselves in the conflict of a species that has historically been a threat to us. Javain took another deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment pressing down on him. Captain Hart, I understand your skepticism. The history between our species is fraught with conflict and betrayal. However, the threat we face now is unlike any other. The Empire is a force of unimaginable destruction. They are wiping out entire worlds, and our people are among their victims. I am here not only to seek your aid, but also to offer a chance for reconciliation and cooperation. Captain Hart's gaze remained fixed on Javain, his expression inscrutable. Why should we trust you? Why should we believe that your people are not just another threat in disguise? Javain met the captain's gaze with unwavering determination, because the alternative is watching my people perish while we stand idly by. The Empire is a menace to all who live in the galaxy. If we do not unite against them, none of us will be safe. I am willing to provide any information and resources that could assist in our mutual defense. All I ask for is a chance to prove our sincerity. Captain Hart's expression softened slightly as he considered Javain's words. After a long pause, he nodded. Very well, Javain. We will assess your claims and the viability of your request. In the meantime, you will be provided with accommodations and have limited access to our facilities. Any further communication or assistance will be determined based on our evaluation. Javain nodded gratefully, feeling a glimmer of hope despite the uncertainty of his situation. As he was escorted to his temporary quarters, he knew that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges. But for now, he had been given a chance to plead his case and to possibly turn the tide in the fight against the Empire. The fate of the Balkan people hung in the balance, and Javain's mission had only just begun. Bridging the divide. Javain's temporary quarters aboard Outpost Theta 7 were modest but functional. The room was equipped with basic amenities, sleeping quarters, a work desk, and a communication terminal. As he settled in, his mind buzzed with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. He had succeeded in gaining entry, but the real challenge lay in proving his people's worth and securing the aid they desperately needed. Over the next few days, Javine worked tirelessly, compiling and transmitting detailed reports on the Empire's activities and the plight of the Balkans. He provided evidence of the destruction wrought upon his colonies, including intercepted communications and distress signals. His hope was that the humans would see the urgency of his situation and recognize the threat that the Empire posed not only to his people, but to the galaxy as a whole. The captain's office, a sleek and imposing space with a panoramic view of the stars, became a focal point for Javine's efforts. He was summoned there frequently to present his findings and answer questions. Each time he faced Captain Hart, the tension in the room was palpable, but Javine remained resolute, determined to convey the gravity of his situation. One day, as Javine prepared for another meeting with Captain Hart, he received a surprise visit from a human scientist named Dr. Lydia Grant. She was a specialist in alien biology and technology, known for her expertise in interspecies relations. Her arrival was unexpected, but Javine welcomed the opportunity to present his case to someone with a scientific background. "Javine," Dr. Grant said as she entered his quarters, her expression one of genuine curiosity. "I've been reviewing the data you've provided, and I must admit, it's both fascinating and troubling. Your people have been through a great deal, and the evidence of the Empire's brutality is clear. But I need to understand more about your technology and how it could potentially assist us in addressing this threat." Javine nodded, grateful for the opportunity to explain. "Of course, Dr. Grant. My people have developed advanced defensive systems and energy shields that could be crucial in repelling the Empire's attacks. Our technology is designed to withstand high-energy bombardments and protect entire colonies. If we can share this technology, it could bolster your defenses and provide us with a fighting chance." Dr. Grant's eyes lit up with interest. "That sounds promising. Our current defense systems are robust, but we could always use more advanced technology. Can you provide a detailed breakdown of your energy shields and how they operate?" Javine proceeded to outline the workings of his people's energy shields, explaining their design and functionality in technical terms. He demonstrated how the shields could absorb and dissipate energy, offering protection against various types of weaponry. Dr. Grant listened intently, asking questions and taking notes as Javine detailed the specifics. As the discussion progressed, Dr. Grant's demeanor shifted from curiosity to enthusiasm. "This technology could make a significant difference in our defense strategies. If we can integrate it with our own systems, we might be able to turn the tide against the Empire. I'll present this information to the research and development team, and we can begin testing and integration." Javine felt a surge of relief and hope. Dr. Grant's positive response was a step forward, and he was eager to see how the collaboration would unfold. With a renewed sense of purpose, he continued to work closely with Dr. Grant and her team, providing further insights into Balkan technology and helping with the integration process. Meanwhile, Captain Hart's attitude toward Javine remained cautious but increasingly open. The captain began to show a willingness to explore the possibility of cooperation, though he remained vigilant. He frequently conferred with his senior officers and advisors, weighing the potential risks and benefits of aligning with the Balkans. One evening, as Javine reviewed the latest updates from Dr. Grant, he was summoned to Captain Hart's office for an important meeting. The captain's expression was more thoughtful than usual, and Javine sensed that a crucial decision was imminent. "Javine," Captain Hart began, "I've reviewed the data and the potential benefits of integrating your technology into our defense systems. Dr. Grant's assessments have been promising, and we're moving forward with testing and integration. However, I need to address the broader implications of this cooperation." Javine's heart pounded with anticipation. "What do you need to know, Captain?" Captain Hart leaned forward, his gaze steady. "The history between our species is complex and fraught with mistrust. While your technology is valuable, we must consider the political and strategic ramifications of aligning with the Balkans. We need to ensure that this alliance does not lead to unintended consequences or further conflict." Javine nodded, understanding the captain's concerns. "I appreciate your caution, Captain. I assure you that my only goal is to protect my people and to seek a genuine alliance. We are committed to transparency and cooperation. If there are any specific concerns or conditions you have, I am willing to address them." Captain Hart considered Javine's response, then spoke with a tone of cautious optimism. "Very well. We will proceed with the integration of your technology, and we will monitor the situation closely. If we see positive results and a genuine commitment to cooperation, we may explore deeper alliances. For now, consider this a step toward mutual understanding and potential collaboration." Javine felt a mixture of relief and determination. While the path ahead was still uncertain, he had made significant progress in bridging the divide between his people and the humans. The integration of Balkan technology into human defense systems was a crucial milestone, and it offered a glimmer of hope for both sides. As Javine continued to work alongside Dr. Grant and the human team, he remained focused on the ultimate goal: securing aid for his people and forging a lasting alliance. The journey was far from over, but the seeds of cooperation had been planted, and Javine was determined to nurture them into a flourishing partnership. The tide turns. The integration of Balkan technology into human defense systems progressed swiftly. Under the guidance of Dr. Lydia Grant and her team, the human engineers worked tirelessly to incorporate the advanced energy shields and defensive mechanisms developed by the Balkans. Javine played a pivotal role in this process, providing crucial insights and troubleshooting issues as they arose. As the days passed, the once cautious Captain Hart began to show signs of optimism. The tests conducted on the new technology yielded promising results, and the integration appeared to be successful. The once hidden threat of the The Empire seemed more tangible, and the human military leaders recognized the value of the Balkan contributions. Javine's growing sense of hope was matched by the mounting urgency of the situation. The The Empire, emboldened by their recent successes, had intensified their campaign against the Balkans. Reports of widespread destruction and suffering reached Outpost Theta 7, reinforcing the need for swift action. One evening, as Javine reviewed the latest intelligence reports, he was approached by Captain Hart. The captain's expression was serious but resolute. "Javine," Captain Hart said, "we've been monitoring the situation closely, and it's clear that the Empire is planning a major offensive. Their forces are gathering, and we need to act quickly to counter their advance. The technology we've integrated will be crucial in defending against their attacks, but we also need to coordinate our efforts effectively." Javine nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I'm ready to assist in any way possible. My people are prepared to join the fight and contribute our forces to the defense effort." Captain Hart considered Javine's response, then spoke with a tone of determination. "Very well. We'll coordinate a joint operation between our forces and the Balkan military. Your expertise and technology will be vital in this effort. We need to ensure that our defenses are fully operational and that we have a cohesive strategy in place." The following days were a whirlwind of activity as the joint forces prepared for the impending assault. Javine and his team worked closely with human military strategists, sharing their knowledge of the Empire's tactics and coordinating defensive measures. The energy shields and defensive systems were deployed and tested extensively, with both human and Balkan forces participating in simulation exercises to refine their strategies. The day of the anticipated attack arrived with a mix of tension and determination. The skies above Outpost Theta 7 darkened as the Empire's fleet approached, their massive warships and fighters casting ominous shadows. The integrated defense systems, now fully operational, stood ready to face the incoming assault. As the battle commenced, the combined forces of the humans and Balkans engaged the Empire's fleet with newfound confidence. The energy shields, bolstered by the advanced Balkan technology, absorbed and deflected the enemy's energy blasts. The coordinated firepower of the human and Balkan fleets created a formidable defense, repelling the initial wave of the Empire's attack. Javine was stationed in the command center, working alongside Captain Hart and Dr. Grant to oversee the battle. The situation was intense, with every moment bringing new challenges and opportunities. The coordination between the human and Balkan forces was seamless, and the shared goal of repelling the Thempire's aggression fostered a sense of unity and purpose. Despite their best efforts, the Thempire's forces proved relentless. The battle waged on, with both sides sustaining losses and making tactical adjustments. Javine and his team continued to provide support, adapting their strategies and technology in response to the evolving situation. In the midst of the chaos, Captain Hart approached Javine with a determined expression. "Javine, we're holding our ground, but the Thempire is pressing hard. We need to push back and launch a counteroffensive. Can your people provide additional support to strengthen our position?" Javine's eyes met Captain Hart's with unwavering resolve. "Yes, we can mobilize our reserves and deploy additional forces. I'll coordinate with my commanders and ensure that we provide the necessary support." With Javine's assistance, the Balkan forces rallied and joined the counteroffensive. The combined might of the human and Balkan fleets surged forward, striking at the heart of the Thempire's assault. The tide of the battle began to turn, with the Thempire's forces facing increasing resistance and setbacks. As the conflict reached its climax, the Thempire's fleet, battered and disorganized, began to retreat. The humans and Balkans pressed their advantage, driving the enemy back and securing a hard-fought victory. The skies, once filled with the chaos of battle, cleared as the Thempire's ships withdrew. The aftermath of the battle brought a mixture of relief and reflection. The joint effort between the humans and Balkans had proven successful, but the cost of the conflict was evident. Both sides had suffered losses, and the scars of battle would take time to heal. In the days that followed, Captain Hart, Dr. Grant, and Javine gathered to assess the outcome and plan for the future. The collaboration between their forces had demonstrated the strength of their alliance and the effectiveness of their combined technology. "Javine," Captain Hart said, his tone respectful, "your people have proven themselves as valuable allies. The integration of your technology and the support of your forces played a crucial role in our victory. I believe we've taken a significant step toward building a lasting partnership." Javine nodded, gratitude and determination evident in his expression. "Thank you, Captain. The success of our collaboration is a testament to what we can achieve together. My people are committed to continuing this alliance and working toward a more secure and prosperous future." Dr. Grant added with a thoughtful smile, "We've seen the potential of our combined efforts. There's much more we can accomplish by working together. Let's build on this momentum and strengthen our partnership." As Javine prepared to return to his people with news of their victory and the progress of the alliance, he felt a renewed sense of hope. The battle had been a defining moment, and the cooperation between humans and Balkans had laid the foundation for a future of mutual respect and shared goals. The road ahead would not be without challenges, but Javine was determined to forge ahead, knowing that the unity and strength demonstrated in the heat of battle had forged a bond that could withstand the trials to come. A new dawn. In the aftermath of the intense battle, the combined forces of the humans and Balkans began the process of rebuilding and recovery. Outpost Theta 7, though scarred from the conflict, stood as a symbol of their hard-fought victory and newfound alliance. The air was thick with a mixture of exhaustion and relief as both sides worked together to restore what had been damaged and prepare for future challenges. Javine, now regarded as a hero among his people, felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The successful defense against the Thit Empire was a testament to the strength of the human-Balkan alliance and the shared determination to overcome adversity. His people's unwavering support and their crucial contributions to the battle had cemented their place as vital allies in the struggle for peace and security. Captain Hart, though battle-weary, looked upon the joint efforts with pride. The integration of Balkan technology had proven to be a game-changer, and the cooperation between their forces had demonstrated that unity could turn the tide of even the most dire situations. The victory had forged a bond between their peoples that extended beyond mere alliances. It had fostered a deep mutual respect and understanding. As the dust settled, the leadership from both sides gathered for a commemorative ceremony. It was a moment of reflection and celebration, honoring the courage and sacrifices of those who had fought to secure their future. The ceremony was marked by speeches, gratitude, and a collective commitment to the ongoing collaboration between their worlds. Javelin and Captain Hart stood together on a makeshift stage, addressing the assembled crowd. The scene was one of unity and hope, with representatives from both human and Balkan forces present. Today, Captain Hart began, his voice carrying a tone of solemn pride. We stand together not just as allies, but as friends. Our victory in the face of adversity is a testament to the strength of our alliance and the courage of every individual who fought for a common cause. The technology and bravery of our Balkan friends have proven invaluable, and I believe that our shared future holds great promise. Javelin stepped forward, his expression reflecting both the weight of the recent conflict and the hope for what lay ahead. This battle has shown us that despite our differences, we are united by a common goal. We have fought side by side, and through our cooperation, we have achieved something greater than we could have alone. The future is now ours to shape, and I am honored to continue this journey with you. The applause that followed was heartfelt and resonant, a clear sign of the respect and camaraderie that had been built through their shared experiences. The ceremony marked the beginning of a new chapter in the relationship between humans and Balkans. In the weeks that followed, efforts were focused on strengthening the alliance and addressing the needs of those affected by the conflict. Both societies worked together to rebuild, share resources, and continue the integration of their technologies. The cooperative spirit extended beyond the battlefield, influencing diplomatic relations, trade agreements, and cultural exchanges. Javelin played a crucial role in these efforts, acting as a bridge between his people and the humans. His insights and leadership helped facilitate a deeper understanding and collaboration. The Balkans and humans worked together on projects that would benefit both worlds, from advancements in technology to shared educational initiatives. One evening, as Javelin reflected on the progress made, he received a visit from Dr. Lydia Grant. The two had developed a strong working relationship throughout the conflict, and their discussions often delved into the future of their alliance. Javelin, Dr. Grant said with a thoughtful smile, "I've been reflecting on the past few weeks. The integration of our technologies and the strength of our cooperation have been remarkable. It's clear that we've laid the groundwork for something truly transformative." Javelin nodded, his eyes reflecting a sense of hope and determination. "Indeed, Lydia. The challenges we faced have strengthened our resolve and deepened our connection. Our collaboration has proven that together we can overcome any obstacle. The future is full of possibilities, and I believe we are on the brink of a new era of mutual growth and prosperity." As they spoke, the horizon of their shared future seemed brighter than ever. The battle had been a crucible, testing their resolve and forging a powerful alliance. The experiences and relationships developed through their shared struggle had created a foundation for continued progress and cooperation. The alliance between the humans and Balkans had been tested in the heat of conflict, but it emerged stronger and more resilient. The collaboration between their peoples had not only secured a critical victory, but had also opened the door to a future of shared dreams and mutual support. In the years to come, the story of their alliance would be remembered as a testament to the power of unity and the strength that comes from working together. The challenges faced and the victories achieved would serve as a reminder of what could be accomplished when different worlds came together with a common purpose.